Okay, my name is Guillermo Cuadrado. I am with Amadeus. If you haven't realized, I'm speaking English. My German is not good enough for this presentation, so I'm sorry about that. We're going to be talking about business metrics. For the last couple of days, we have been hearing about metrics at the IT level, some of them at the business level, and trying to put together BISOP's dashboards. So my presentation will take you a step up in that direction, hopefully. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Amadeus, who we are and what we do, and especially why this might be relevant for you. We're going to take a look at our business and its metrics and see how is this relevant for an IT organization like many of ours. We're going to take a look at technical business management, and some of you might be familiar with it, which is a discipline that helps linking the business and IT. And this is important for us. And as an example, maybe a bit extreme, we're going to be looking at the two sides of business growth. On the one hand, it is good to have a business that grows, but it poses challenges to IT organizations, at least to ours. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about a guide to a manageable IT budget. All of us have pressure to have a lower budget in IT, and this is difficult because the business throws more and more requirements to us. And then, yes, what do we do in this particular case? And I have an example that I hope will shed some light on this topic. Amadeus, yes, our mission or vision is to shape the future of travel. This is a corporate slide that I have to put up. You don't have to read it, okay? It has a lot of things. But if you remember yesterday, our colleague, Herr Pitsch von Otto, was talking about 20 sales per second. This is a business metric. So we have two in this slide, which says many things, but I would like to focus on those two. One, every year we move 1.8 billion passengers. Anybody who flew in today was most likely using Amadeus services in various respects. So that's a lot of people, 1.8 billion. And we have a very aggressive CEO that wants a 10% growth every year. So we're going to run out of people in the world to fly in a couple of years, I think, but never mind. Then we have 640 million bookings per year. Compared to Otto's 10 sales per second, this is about 20 sales per second, which is more or less in the same league, okay? So it's like Bayern München, it steps ahead by a little bit, but not by much. So this is really important. These metrics are going to come up because these are really business metrics. They have nothing to do with IT. There's not servers, there's not terabytes, it's not petabytes, it's not tickets, it's business. So what is it that we do at Amadeus? Well, we want to enrich the traveler's journey. So first of all, if I want to go on vacation, I might think, okay, where do I want to go? I don't know. How much budget do I have? Maybe 500 euros if it is my daughter. And she will want to go somewhere with those 500 euros, so Amadeus has solutions for that. Then the next step is shop. You go, and as we learned earlier on from Amazon, you just look for things that you want. Okay, I was buying a ticket to fly to Madrid next week. Ironically, it was to visit my mother-in-law. It's not a vacation, but I had to go, so never mind. So I looked at options, flight days, this provider, that is shopping. It's a lot of transactions. And the rate is increasing. We look at many things because everybody wants the best solution and the cheapest and the most convenient and the most everything. So this is shopping. And then we go on to booking. So we actually purchase the ticket and the trip. And there we go. Here we get the 640 million that we sell every year. But now, what else? Well, we have to check in, right? Most of us check in from home because it's convenient and it saves money to the airlines. So we just check in, and this is the pre-trip thing. And then we get onto the plane, again, the 1.8 billion again. So oops, I went too far, sorry. The check-in and the flight itself, we have solutions for the airports to track the planes and see what tracks they are in, all these kind of things. This is Amadeus. So we're a truly global company. Okay, 190 plus markets. If you look at the map, I think only Afghanistan and North Korea are not blue, the Amadeus blue. We have development centers all over the world. But okay, fine. There are many global players out there. And in a sense, this is what Amadeus does. It puts together, I refuse to say this, but I have to, connecting the travel ecosystem. So we have travel providers, the airlines, the train companies, hotel providers, almost 1 million locations. We have almost 500 airlines are our customers. We connect those with sellers or resellers. Like if you go to Opodo or any place like this or any of the search engines, most likely will go through Amadeus. And we try to put that together with the travelers, so which is, again, the 20 sales per second. So fine, okay, so this is very interesting, so what? Now we get to a different type of metric, the ones that our board likes. Revenue increasing year after year at about 7, 8, 10%. Very profitable. So now what? We have to link that with IT, because so far we have been talking about revenue, we have been talking about sales. So what? What does it mean for IT? And then we have to ask ourselves a question. What is the value of IT? Many of us are engineers or previous controllers, as we learned earlier on. But okay, it's okay to be a controller. Okay? I have friends in controlling. I used to be an engineer when I was younger, but never mind. So what is the value of IT? We have to look at the players in this so-called game. First of all, we have the business units. Okay? They make money. They have financial objectives. They have to grow by 10%. Double-digit growth is the mantra these days. There is finance, and they look at the money and they don't want us to spend anything that they can help. And there is poor IT, us trying to fulfill what the business needs from us. But the BU say, you know, you are expensive, you are slow, I can do it better if I go myself to Amazon and buy it directly from them. As our colleague from Otto explained this morning, we don't want that to happen. Then finance says, you know, you are a black hole that sucks money. I want you to cut down your budget. And she's a very tough lady. But IT says, okay, you're asking me to do more and more and more for less. How is it going to work? Even worse, in typical conversations between the business and IT, something like this happens. They will start saying, oh no, operational expenses, capital expenses, depreciation, amortization, product and loss statements, P&Ls. And IT looks at us and says, what? I understand vCPUs, I understand terabytes, I understand megabit per second bandwidth. Don't talk to me in this strange language. So now what? What do we do about that? So we went to the TBM Council and we asked them, what do we do about this? And they said, okay, you can build a cost model, right? So we did build a cost model using the Aptio software. But this is only the first step. We are trying to bridge the business world, as represented by the bottom of the diagram. You don't have to read it, okay? And the business units on top. So it links it. So we have a model, a consistent model based on a standard. And then where do the business metrics come into play? We're going to take a look at two sides of business growth. This is one of our business lines. It grows by 34% every year in transactions. You will say that is a good thing because we make more money. But we have a flat IT budget. Now, what do we do about that? And this is really the paradox, how to having an almost exponential business growth with an almost static cost budget. And this is what I call the hitchhiker's guide to a manageable IT budget. I'm not saying that I can fix this, okay? If I were, I would be somewhere else making a lot of money, but okay, never mind. We need to look at funding. I don't know about you guys, but Our IT spend is funded by corporate headquarters. So they give us X million every year and say, go run your IT and don't come back asking for more money, because I'm not going to give it to you. This is what I call the grandmother principle. When I was a boy, I would go to my grandma and say, Grandma, I need money to go downstairs and buy something, and she would give me 50 pesetas. It was in the old days before the euro. And if I went back, she would say, no, I already gave you the 50, right? No, you're not getting anything. So, like I said, our CFO is our fairy godmother, and she gives us X millions every year to run IT, with a minimal, close to inflation type of increase, and that's it. We are supposed to live with that. And certainly she has her foot down on CapEx. We are not supposed to buy a billion servers because it ain't gonna fly. So what? What do we do about this? Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet that there is method in madness. So what did we do about this? First of all, the holy grail of IT, we split fixed and variable cost. Some of the IT costs are fixed. It doesn't matter what we have, they're going to be there. And some of it is variable. And we're going to see how it works. We said, okay, the transactions at the application level are going to grow at the same path as the business. So if it is 34%, they will grow by 34% also. And the unit cost will stay constant during the planning period. If the server starts increasing during the year, it will not work. The cost of a server, I mean. So we work with Aptio's consultants, and they help us put together this model. So what do we have here? At the bottom, we have servers. So we find out how much it costs us to run a cloud server, a virtual server, or a physical server. And on top of that, we know how many servers we have serving a specific application. So that's, we know, and we say, okay, fine. And that gives us a fixed price per unit. And then we know this black line means that below that, everything is constant. It's not going to change during the year. So it gives us a unit price per transaction. We know how many transactions we ran last year on that application, so we have a unit price per transaction. Then we have, see, those two boxes. The green part is fixed, so it will not change, essentially, and the variable part. But then is where the business metrics come in. So we ask the business, what are your business projections for next year? And they will tell us 2.0 billion PBs for next year, passenger boarded. So we put it into the engine, and it's going to say, okay, your applications related to the customer management service, our passenger handling system, will increase by 10%, say, from 1.8 to 2 billion. So all the transactions will increase, and we will find out the new variable part for this, and we'll report it back to the business. Okay, so far, so good. So what happens with this? If we take one of the services of this product line, which is supposed to grow at almost 30%, we see that using this algorithm, we ended up with an 18% increase in the IT costs. Okay, you say, what's the big deal? If you don't get any increase, how are you going to do it? But this is important, and remember when we were talking about talking business and talking IT speak, this is what helps us, and I think this is the solution to the paradox. Now, when I go to Gartner conferences, they always have key takeaways. So I said, okay, who are Gartner that I cannot do myself? So you get 3 things for free from me. 1, the split between fixed and variable cost help us to bring down this excessive growth to a more manageable thing. But it's still very high, higher than our IT. But then the next point is important. Now we can talk to the business in their terms and say, look, business, in this particular case, our distribution business, we can support up to, say, 15% of growth. The rest, you have to help us fund it. It's no longer the grandmother giving us money, but we can go back to the business units and say, look, if you want to grow 30%, that's fine, but then we need to talk money and you have to transfer budget to us. And again, it has to be based on their business metrics, not in servers or in anything, because they're not going to understand that. And again, as I said, the negotiation of excessive growth needs to be funded by the BUs. And I think this is, for me, the spirit of these BizOps talks. Yesterday we were doing dashboards, and it was very interesting and very nice, and most of us were proposing tickets and other typical IT metrics, MTTR, as we have been seeing this morning. But there is more to it than just that. And for me, this is the spirit of BizOps. Call it whatever you want, call it TBM, call it BizOps, call it FinOps if you want. But it's to try to have these conversations with the business from an IT perspective. Okay, so I have been speaking very fast, I think. Any questions? Because I ran out of things to throw at you.